Bill here, Christmas soup, food for the soul, 223 nationalities. Just on my way to do my vlog, and of course the mail came, and it's great to get mail, isn't it? You know, you think things just interrupt you a little bit, but you know, you get your mail and think, oh, what's in it? What's in it? I tell you what, mail doesn't come cheap now, does it? It costs something to send mail to people. Unless, of course, you're using email. But then, even if you're using email, you're paid for your broadband, you're paid for your internet, you're paid for your computer. You know, your computer, depending on the size of your computer and depending on the cost of your email and the internet, broadband and different things you signed up to, you're paying some money. So you pay some money for one thing, you lose them to others. Little cards are in that one envelope. That's a good way to save money. Bill. Oh, Billy. Oh, that's really freeloading on Christmas cards, isn't it? Paul and Helen. Yeah, okay, right. Okay. So I've got another one of them in the car. Somebody gave me the other night. In fact, Andy, and one from. We'll get that in a moment. So I was thinking about the blog today, and about to bring good tidings, glad tidings of great joy. And as I sat down, my eye was cast to a piece of academic work. You know, I saw this sitting on the bottom shelf, so it just caught my eye. And of course, it's Ruth's thesis, dissertation. There you go, dissertation in human geography. And it's called A Community in Crisis. Community in Crisis, is that by Ruth McLaughlin? And Geography BA Honours. Anyway, this was hers. And so she was talking about the closure of a particular industry and the effects on a particular town. It says, community in crisis, question mark, yeah. Because would this closure of this industry massively affect the community, the social, political and economic effects of the closure of blah blah blah. Anyway, by Ruth McLaughlin. So she went away for a week and stayed in a hotel and interviewed people from the council and various parts of the industry, and then service industries in the area and housing, and so asked about what would be going on. So anyway, I picked it up and I looked at the bibliography at the back. I like to look at bibliographies and things that people have used or read and used for contrasting and comparing and paralleling different situations. So, and I'm just going to quote you a couple of these ideas here. The town that was murdered. Trace the rise and eventual decline of shipbuilding industry in Jarrow and the associated industries of coal and steel. It was useful background reading showing the effects and devastation on a community which was so totally dependent on a particular economic activity and which had indeed grown up as a result of such an industry. And in fact, so I mean, that's quite a read, quite a massive. What else did you read? So look at this. After the mines, changing employment opportunities in the South Wales valleys. Yeah, this book looks at Amman Valley, where mining dominated the area's industry for many years. The closure of the pits impacted the whole community, both indirectly and directly, due to the area's economic dependence. The decline in employment opportunities was charted, noting that besides declining mining, there was declining related employment activities and the service industry. She's got a rake of books here, like Managing Britain's Defences, Directions in Geography, Political Geography, Post-Cold War Theory, Economic Studies, Strategic Cases of Closures, Unemployment and Health, and a whole there's pages on it. Anyway, but I thought it was quite interesting, just the bibliography. But there was also chapter 5 was as I flicked it over. I thought, what else did she talk about? But the heading in chapter 5 says, "What of the future?" I don't buy it. There's a heading. What of the future? Now, this is a piece of work that's drawn together on the background studies and research of various writers, investigations, steering committees, research committees, planning committees, housing associations, local business and commerce and all that all went into this fine document, Bruce, a fine document. And it was read and she got passed. She got a nice 2-1 for it. And yeah, they announced the closure, and then immediately the closure was announced. There was various steering committees up, preparations put in place, because this event was going to take place and it was going to impact people's lives right across the country, well, right across that town and the country. Very like the mining, you know. I remember as a special constable, I was down in Wales just after, or on the tail end of the miners' strike. I remember my mammy rang me up and she said to me, what are you doing? I says, well, I'm getting a free education, ma'am. So for a while I'm at uni, I might as well spend one night a week giving something back to the community. So that was me, and I've just opened the wrong wrong card. It shouldn't have been in my, well, it was the same shape, you know. So anyway, the wrong card. Well, there you go. You ever open the wrong presents at Christmas? Yeah, never mind. Here we go. Oh, look at that. The that's a beautiful card, isn't it? Let's this 2 billion. May the message of Christmas fill your life with joy and peace. Many blessings for 2025 with love from Raymond, Rachel, Amy, Jonathan, and Adam. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given. Now that was from some friends of mine going all the way back to maybe like 15, you know. In fact, Rachel's mum stayed at my parents' house when she was doing her nursing training. So, yeah, small world. Thank you very much for that. So, unto us a child is born. It quotes Isaiah 9 and 6, you know. The research was done. Committees knew what was going on. And we mentioned in a previous vlog that when Herod asked, where is he that is born King of the Jews? Where's he going to be born? They just went, Bethlehem. Everybody knows it's Bethlehem, you know. And when something major is announced, like an industrial closure, an industry being closed, everybody has some sort of inkling of what's going to be going on. Chapter 5, what of the future? Well, Christmas is that sort of event, isn't it? You know, everybody mentions that Christmas is coming. Hey, good news, there's only 4 days to go. And then it'll be mince pies galore. But 4 days to go. And then what of the future? What comes after Christmas? And the Christmas will be quite good. We'll have our meats, we'll have our vegetarian logs. I'm sorry. Hey, I worked in a vegetarian restaurant for 3 years. Yeah, I did. And in the vegetarian restaurant, I learned to cook vegetables. Mary Davis was the chef there. She taught me how to cook. Thank you for that, Mary, if you're still with us. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that. Happy Christmas from Burundi. Now, Burundi is like one of the beautiful people. Let's say where these beautiful people live. They live in Burundi, one of the poorest countries of the world. And a nice wee Christmas card. Noel Inisia. I don't know if that's the way you pronounce it, but if it is, that's fine. Thank you from Burundi. We wish you love and joy. Peace of Christmas. So, yeah, it's great to know that the little things we do can make a big impact somewhere else. Major things like closing industries have massive effects on people's families. I remember as a teacher one day, kids coming into school late and saying, it was in the crash, just a few years ago. My dad came home from work. Gates were closed as well. Dad came home from work. workshop was closed. Dad came home from work, not got a van anymore, so futures, lives are impacted by closing things down. But when Jesus came, he came to open things up, open up forgiveness, open up new relationships, open up. Jesus said, I am the door to heaven, and the doorway by me if any man enters, Oh, come on now. He opened up the whole idea of acceptance, the whole idea of growth, the whole idea of if you feel like you're unwanted, rejected, unlucky, poor, despised, looked down upon, Jesus opened the door and said, come unto me, all ye that are weak and weary and heavy laden, I will give you rest. Christmas is a great time for looking at the idea of closing things from the past and opening things for the potential. That's a really nice card, Just a message of thanks from Burundi. We've got a lot to thank other people in the world for, a lot to thank each other for, and we've got a lot to thank God for. That's what Christmas is about. Joy and thanks, and appreciation of other people. And if you send a card or an email or text, somebody somewhere will appreciate you for it. And I'll leave something else I was going to say to another vlog, maybe on the night before Christmas. It was the night before Christmas. I'm looking forward to it. So God bless you as you think about closures. What would you like to close out? Or what, as you see Christmas coming, people think about New Year as a time of closure and a time of new beginnings. It's a new year and blah, 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 blah. Good enough. But Jesus is the ultimate closure. He's the one who has the keys of death and hell and the grave, one who can close the door, one who buries our past in the sea of God's forgetfulness, so that's closed. And not only that, he says, behold, I make all things new. Christmas is a sign, we're talking about New Year, but Christmas is a sign of making all things new. It was announced years ago, years and years and years ago. Yeah, let me see. When we talk about years and years ago, how long are you talking about? I'm just talking about 6,000 years ago. Something like that, easy, nearly 6,000 years ago. That one day, a guy's coming. And then over the passage of time, every so often, you got a little bit of an insight into where this coming would be and what it would be like. I've got my wise men from the east. They've got crowns on their head. They weren't kings. They maybe worked up, advised kings and royalty and that. And that's an interesting part in that Daniel had been in Persia. And Daniel, the prophet Daniel, as he became known. The prophet Daniel, when Israel was carried away into captivity into Babylon, Daniel was there. And he was amongst the wise men. And he said, about the festival and the feast of 70 weeks, 70 years is coming, and the feast the last week, knew all about it. These guys came looking as a result, no doubt. So, what are you closing out at Christmas? What are you expecting to receive at Christmas? Well, that's a good question. That's it. What are you expecting to close out, and what are you expecting to receive? Yeah. For the Lord our God, the Almighty, reigns. Some things close, some things become new. And Christmas is the newest of all things in Jesus.